What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Fable Joey, and I am here to review Castlevania Season 2. I absolutely love this season. This is a Netflix original, and the show is only 12 episodes, so this actually should be a pretty short video. First, I want to touch on the first season because, I better talk about it before I go into the second season. The first season is only 4 episodes. I watched this with 2 other people in one night, so I'll be giving you their reviews as well as mine. I think the first season's great. It had a lot of potential, and it had like a perfect setup for a second season or more. I think that they kind of just did the first season to, like, just as a test, you know, is this going to work? Are people going to like it? Are people going to watch it? And they did, so we got Castlevania Season 2. I gave the first season an A-, and the 2 people I watched it with, we had a B and then another A-. So let's get into reviewing Castlevania Season 2. I cannot wait to review this. First, let's talk about music, because I think when you think Castlevania and you don't know much about Castlevania, you do know one thing, and is that the music is spectacular. There are so many tracks, like, throughout all of the Castlevania video games, and, that's kind of hard to live up to, especially for a TV show. Like, can they pull off an amazing score like all the video games did? Personally, I've only played about 6, 7 Castlevania games. I played the DS ones, like the newest one on the Xbox, which I didn't like very much. I don't know, maybe that was like 2014 or something. Obviously, I've played Symphony of the Night, and then a couple here and there, like the N64 one, and then just other ones on, like, the Game Boy. But I like the video games a lot, and I think that watching the show makes you want to play the video games. So maybe I'll go back and play more of those. Is the music in the show great? Yes. I think that the music is absolutely fantastic. It knows what fans want during an action scene. It knows what they want during an emotional scene. It knows what they want during just a scene where 2 characters are talking. They have perfect music here, especially in the action sequences. Like, props to them. The action sequences alone are breathtaking, which we will get to, but the music behind them is amazing. It gets you pumped up. It gets you wanting to see an awesome fight, and I thought that the first season's music was really good, and you can see potential. Everything in the first season is like, oh man, they could do that with something and it would be really cool, and that's what they did with Season 2. I think that the music's fantastic. You have some awesome remixed Castlevania themes from old games brought into the show. I'm not sure if Castlevania, Netflix-wise, has the rights to any of the music, but I know that they did have a couple of, like, songs, at least to me, that seem familiar for something that you hear in the games. I think that the music is great. It gets the job done. It gets the job more than done. I think that fans are going to be really pleased with the music in Castlevania 2. Alright, so let's talk animation. I thought that the first season's animation was fantastic. In action sequences, you could see that the animation was really good, and Netflix knew what they were doing. And it looks awesome. Just like 7 Deadly Sins, which is also a Netflix original, it has great animation, and Castlevania does too. You're dealing with Dracula's castle, a super, super famous, like, icon, and Dracula himself. The animation's gotta be pretty stunning, and it is. I think that the animation's great. I personally think that they kind of upped it a little bit in the second season. They might have not even changed it at all. I thought that it looked better, or just, like, maybe more. I think that the colors were a little bit brighter, and they made, like, the characters' outlines better. It's not a huge change, but it definitely is something that you see. And, they had more to work with this time. Season 2 is twice the amount of episodes. You get 8 episodes this time around. And so that's just like Season 1, but times 2. So you have a lot more substance to deal with. Personally, I think that the animation is great. It is fantastic for what it needs to do. And, you have awesome sequences in here that I will get to where the animation is just absolutely breathtaking. So yeah, personally I think that the animation is great, and I think that it, like, in some parts, maybe it could have been better. I thought that it was fleshed out, and I thought that it was well done, and that's just my opinion on it though. If you didn't like the animation, or if you don't like the style of it, let me know in the comments, but I thought it was great. Alright, so let's talk favorite characters here for a bit. So my 3 favorites are kind of like the 3 main. There's the 3 main protagonists, which are awesome. You got your Speaker, you got your Hunter, and you got Alucard. And they're awesome, but my favorites is probably Carmilla for the second season. She's an awesome villain. If she is a villain in future seasons, I'd be super happy with that, because I think that she's spectacular. Dracula is incredible. You're dealing with one of the most famous villains ever. He better be done well. And Dracula's amazing. The voice acting is incredible. I don't think there was a single performance from the voice actor where I was like, oh man, they definitely could have got someone better to do that. You got Thorin Oakenshield playing a character in this. Trevor Belmont, and he fits perfectly. Trevor's voice actor is amazing. So my 3 favorite characters were Carmilla, Dracula, and Alucard. Alucard, there isn't a single thing that I don't like about him. There's a funny part where they kind of describe Alucard as, like, this edgy teenager, you know, who just wants to fight his dad, which is, like, that's kind of what's happening. I thought it was pretty funny, and the season is pretty funny. They've got some jokes in there. I mean, it's not, like, overpowered with jokes, but there is some funny moments. I think that the characters are super strong. The second season spends a lot of time focusing on their villains, and the villains are fantastic. I think that they did need more screen time than the first season. Dracula got a lot of screen time. The protagonist got a lot of screen time. They were able to split parts. They were able to split emotional moments into some episodes and action-packed moments in others. So I think that the characters this season, I mean, you get more than the first season's characters. The characters from the first season are still great, so that's really what I have to say about that. Okay, here's what I've been waiting to talk about. And this is pretty bold here. And, I mean, I'm still young, you know, so I haven't seen everything. But I'd be willing to say that Castlevania Season 2 has some of the best action sequences ever. It is absolutely jaw-dropping. It is insane. The whole time I was watching this, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen better action animation in a show. That's, like, I don't want to spoil anything. But I'm going to give you my episode highlights, and it was 6, 7, 8, and 2. Episode 7 is one of the best episodes that has ever been in an anime ever, in my opinion. I think that the action is spectacular. The music is amazing. When you see episode 6, you're like, oh man, 7 can't top that, and it tops it by a million. Episode 7 is incredible. The action, if you're an anime fan and you love action sequences, go watch it. I mean, it's on Netflix. You really don't have anything to lose. The action is incredible, guys. Even just look up a clip. Maybe it'll get you into the show. Alright guys, so final verdict here. I think that Castlevania Season 2 is the best video game adaptation that has ever been made. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen all of them, but I absolutely loved it. I'm going to be giving it an A+. The 2 people I watched it with gave it an A. I think it is incredible. Go watch Castlevania. It's on Netflix. The music's spectacular. The villains are spectacular. The animation is incredible. Those action sequences are some of the best that we have ever had. Thank you guys so much for watching.